This podcast could potentially have adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly the possibility of sexual content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the literary briefs edition. Said it right this time. It's fine. I am your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today is the amazing Danielle Orsino. Do not forget to like and subscribe because you're listening, you're watching right now. Like and subscribe to us. Our amazing guest today is Tamatha Cain. Woo! Woo!
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking a little bit. I have the very last, which is probably a good thing because this is hitting me pretty hard. I think it has to do with the hand-picked flowers. No, so ridiculous. These guys are going to reach out to me and say, stop drinking my drink on your podcast. It's fine. It's okay.
Desist.
Yeah. Belvoir Farm elderflower lemonade. It's a traditional family recipe with fresh elderflower infusion that are handpicked, and it's crafted with nature. I think that should mean wood nymphs are doing this, or dryads.
I was going to say,
something.
what does crafted with nature mean exactly?
I don't know. I don't like that there's no description of these things, but I'm drinking it anyway. But I added gin to it. I added my botanical gin to it, so it made it super
more nature.
Yeah, more nature. There's so much nature happening in this cup right now. So much nature. Yes, it's handpicked nature. I don't even know what the hell that means. Okay, Danielle, what are you drinking today?
I've got the last of my hot toddy in my Maleficent cup coming down.
I like it. I might do a hot toddy later, or I might just nap. One of those two things is going to happen.
It's all nature.
Nature. I'm going to nap in nature. I'm not. It's raining here. That's a terrible plan. Tamatha, what are you drinking?
I have a Merlot, a Translations Merlot. Yeah, because
Very, very cool. Very cool. You got to show the glass though.
With the labels and the here. Maybe because I'm embarrassed how much of it I've already had.
No, you don't have to be embarrassed, because if I told you how much gin to lemonade was in this cup, I've been refilling the lemonade. It's mainly gin. So, okay, literary briefs, rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I better be. Sounds like.
That's okay. It's not like a pass or fail grade. You'll be fine. Okay. Well, it depends on your answers, I suppose. No, just kidding. Okay. What is your favorite book of all time?
Oh my goodness, Little Women.
Little Women? Why?
I think just because it's the first book that just really transported me. And it may actually be the first book that wasn't an abridged version that I read as a child. And it just sort of, I don't know, it just showed me how a person can be taken, just through words on a page. You can be taken to another place.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What about your least favorite book of all time?
Oh dear. Oh gosh. I don't know if I should say. And also,
say
it's called. What was it called? Can I think about? I have to remember what it was called. Oh, because it wasn't that. Oh, never mind.
That one, whatever that was. That's what I want to
This
know.
might be what do they call it? A hot take or an unpopular opinion? But it is Wuthering Heights. And that is very weird because when I was a kid, I thought I had read Wuthering Heights. And I thought it was the most romantic thing I've ever read in my life. I was like, oh, can't wait to be a grown up. And I read it again this year. And I was like, what am I reading right now? What is happening? Why do people think this guy is so? And I realized that I had read the abridged version as a child. And I guess that's part of it, part of why I had such a strong reaction to, I thought I loved this, but actually I do not. I can't stand this guy. And how is this romantic? So anyway, That's my,
That's
yeah.
because a lot of people just see movies and they're like, oh,
Yes.
this is great. And then you read the book and you're like, did you ever read the book? Like this,
Exactly. It's creepy, man. It's so creepy.
that's okay. There was a gosh, there's a movie on Netflix right now, and I have to think of it, but it's got the girl that played in Vampire Diaries. And
Yeah. Oh, no.
they talk about there's a Christmas song, and I absolutely love this because it's the baby it's cold outside. If you
Yes.
listen to the verses of that Christmas song,
It's a little messed up.
it's a little rapey. It is a little
Yeah.
rapey of a song. I'm sorry. Like if you actually listen to it. So in the movie, the guy that she's with, I'm not going to give away, changes the lyrics when they're having to sing the baby it's cold outside, right? And they changed the lyrics. And I used to love that. So I was like, that's a great song. And then when I was watching the movie, I was like, wait a minute, I haven't heard that song in forever. And I went and played it and I was like, oh, it's a little it's a little interesting, some of these older songs,
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, what about if you could be any character from a book, what would it be? Who would it be? But you have to live their life.
Oh gosh, you have to live their life.
Yeah, you don't get all just the benefits of being super cool. You have to go through their journey with them.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. These are hard questions on a glass of wine.
Oh, you should see on a glass of gin. These are hard questions to remember to ask.
Hand-picked flower
Oh,
gin.
let me think.
I don't know if my gin was handpicked flowers. So is it juniper berries that make gin? Is it
Yes,
juniper?
yes. I
Yeah.
think so.
That's a lot of nature.
That's so much. I have so much nature in my cup right now. I feel like a fucking
You
fairy.
have like a little circlet of flowers.
Oh, I should
Better
get a
not
circlet of
leave your glass sitting there for too long. You'll have like ferns and
I am
flowers
not
falling out of
Woodland
it.
nymphs.
Yeah.
Nymphs.
Uh-oh.
going right now. Hey, could you just put all that back? Because we don't want you anywhere near me. Okay, character. Did you come up with your character?
Oh, let me look at some books for an idea. Hold on. I'm looking at my bookshelf. Most of the books on this shelf are research from the Una book, so that's not helping. Gosh, this is very hard. Can we come back to this one?
We can come back to this one. Okay, Danielle, ask your question because then we can go in between. Are you good with it? You want me to ask it?
No, I'm good. Okay, if you're gonna run, you have to run into one of these 3 supernatural / cryptid creatures. Which one would it be and why? Either a Bigfoot,
Oh,
an alien, or the Loch Ness monster.
if I had to encounter one of them?
Yes.
And you're proving that they're real. That's the
Yeah.
reason you get to encounter them.
An alien. And why? Because of proving that they're real. Because that's just so fascinating to me. My daughter, one of my daughters recently showed me the James Webb telescope pictures.
Oh yeah.
And it just, I mean, space already kind of really, just the idea of its endlessness just really freaks me out. Just to, to think about how endless it is in those pictures. It makes it feel like, how can you not think there are what we would call aliens out there? So I
Oh
think it would
no.
be
If
aliens.
anybody who doesn't think there's intelligence life out there, I'm like, okay, you're a special kind of human because
But I
there
don't know
is
how-
no way that that's not the case, you
Yeah.
know?
I don't know how you cannot think that, but so it would be an alien.
Yeah, no,
Not
it's
like
true.
those skittery kind with like stuff dripping out of their mouths. and
Those
stuff.
are my favorite
Like
aliens.
in the little
You
green
want the
man.
grays with the big
Yeah.
eyes.
The ones I grew up with, on TV, the little green man. He just has a giant head because he's so smart.
I
We'll
don't
accept
know,
that.
count mutilations and all that could be dangerous. Okay, what is your did you figure out who you want to be yet?
Oh, for crying out loud. Okay,
I'm
wait.
just coming, I'm gonna circle back every question until we
I want to be, and then you have to live their life though.
Yes.
is that what's hanging you up? Did you have an answer until I made you say
Well, I mean, again, I would have gone back to the, somebody writerly like, let's say, I was thinking of Daisy Jones and the Six. because that was just sort of a fantasy life. You know, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a singer. When I grow up, I was going to be it's going to be Mariah Carey or something. And that book just sort of, it seemed, obviously fictional and obviously, but based on Fleetwood Mac stories, right?
Yeah.
or that dynamic. And so I would say probably something like that, because being on tour and the drama backstage. I've always been super fascinated with backstage, what goes on that the fans can't see. So yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, I like
I
it.
don't know if it would be Daisy Jones. There was another character in that one, someone's wife or someone else in the band. It's been a while since I read it, but sort of the feel of that world resonates with me, I think.
Very cool. What about your favorite a book to movie or book to TV show, like where you think they did a really good job with it?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Or book to movie. One of my favorite books, Remains of the Day. And I can never call that author's name to mind. But I love that book. And the movie, I think, captured the feel of the book pretty well.
Very cool. What about one where do you think they did a terrible job?
You know what, and this is on top of mind because I just did a little more sort of reminding myself kind of research. The Thornbirds. Do you remember that? I don't know if either of y'all are as old as me and remember that miniseries from the must have been 80s. I don't know why I didn't watch that, but I think the book was just so much richer, and the miniseries maybe played on only, I mean, it had a lot of salacious things, elements to the story, but the book was just so much richer. The characters were richer.
It makes sense. Okay. What about your favorite trope? What is your favorite tropes to read?
Well, I can tell you offhand things that I can't stand. It's like stories that are sort of, it all hinges on some misunderstanding or information that one sentence could have solved this mystery at the beginning, where it's just so obviously tenuous. I can't stand that. But my favorite, I guess, would be I love spy situations, or I'm not sure what names of tropes for those would be, but like right now I'm reading the Alice Network, and loving how the two timelines are wound together. Even though I feel like I know what the mysterious part is going to turn out to be, I enjoy that. I enjoy, even if I'm wrong, I enjoy where they lay enough for you to at least have a theory of what's happening, but or what the mystery is going to, how it'll all will be revealed. So I guess if it's a trope, it's that that tension that comes before the all will be revealed, at the end. I mean, I love a literary sort of character study, but just for reading enjoyment, I'd say anything that has that feel. It doesn't have to be a spy book, but where the reader can feel at certain times that they may know more than even the characters. They maybe can put it together before before the inspector, or before the lady who's trying to figure out what happened in her family's past. Or I love that, and I try to incorporate that myself in my books.
Very cool. We talked a lot about genre mashing. I can use all my words incorrectly and stuff.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a genre that you would love to write, but you haven't yet? Is there something you'd love to be able to do?
I would love to be able to write a really taut thriller, but I'm not sure I'm smart enough. I'd like to challenge myself to do it. I know one of my daughters says that if I ever, she thinks I have the kind of mind to come up with these diabolical stories, and if I ever did write it, she'd be afraid. So I'd like to challenge myself to do it, but so yeah, I guess it would have to be a really taut sort of thriller.
Very, very cool. I like that idea. Okay, here's a fun one. What is your favorite weird food combination?
Ooh, weird food combination.
Mhm.
I think my problem is I don't think of them as weird. I don't think of the combination as weird, but what other people think is weird. I don't know. I love, sweet and salty and with spice. I know some people can't stand like pineapple and ham on pizza or something like that. But like I said, earlier, my mom was from India and my dad, Polish and French Canadian New Yorker, and our food growing up was different every day. So I guess maybe like maybe something Indian, but with something that wouldn't be considered the right mix. Like a curry and some kind of a potato side dish.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, okay, here's one because you get to answer this. What is a weird cake that somebody asked you to make? Like a weird combo
Dear.
that you were like, I'm sure you have a few
Flavor
examples.
combo?
Yeah.
Well, this one wasn't weird, but it was really cool. And I was reminded of it on this flight, this trip that I just told you I just came back from. Biscoff cookies, those little European cookies. And
Yeah.
you get them on, this was an American Airlines flight, so they give you those little cookies. So I had this couple once who wanted a Biscoff cookie cake. And so what we ended up doing was I had to crush pounds and pounds of this cookie, which at the time wasn't as available as, you can get them at, I think, at like World Market and stuff like that now. But I had to order a whole bunch and crush them all up and like blend it in to the buttercream filling. Turned out really good, but that was a very unique request. Oh, and I had, you know what? The actual weirdest request came from my own kid. Now that I think about it, my daughter Sophia, when she was, I think it was like her 13th birthday, some teenage birthday, she said she wanted a cheesecake, and I was like, okay, I can make a cheesecake. And she said, no, I want the cake to taste like cheese. She's a cheese freak, she just loves cheese. And I ended up grating a bunch of cheese, and she wanted it to be a little bit savory. And then we did fondant, and it looked like a slice of Swiss cheese. And so it kind of went with the theme of the cake, but that's definitely the weirdest flavor of cake I've ever done. Cheese.
Straight cheese.
I just saw Danielle's face, and there's
Yeah.
more clarification
Yeah.
needed.
Yes.
Straight
Yeah.
cheese.
So yeah, there's no, cake, but with cheese flavor in it. Yeah. I don't think she would want that now,
Wow.
but she was going through a little phase, little cheese phase.
That's a phase.
Yeah,
That's a phase.
that was.
I actually requested somebody to make a bacon cake, and they made
Bacon with sweet is good.
yeah,
not a-
bacon. It's a maple bacon cake. So
Yeah.
crumbled, but on the top of it was like a interlaced bacon, like a bacon
Oh
mat.
yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I did a cake. I think it was something in bacon, but I actually had to cook the bacon and then press it up against the sides of the cake. So it was just, the whole side of the round cake was sticks of or slices of crispy bacon. It was for a groom's cake. That was always the most interesting. I used to do wedding cake, and then the groom's cakes were always the most interesting. And actually, my son's groom's cake last year, was one of the coolest we ever did because he loves to do barbecuing and smoking meats and stuff. So we made him a cake that looked like a brisket. And the coating outside was all crushed different kinds of cookies and brown sugar, and everything was no weird flavors, but things mixed together to look like, all the different spices on a cake. And it was a red velvet cake on the inside. And we put it in an actual foil container, like you would take the brisket off and put it in. And we brought it to the site, and I did clear it with my future daughter-in-law first, because it wasn't going to look very elegant. And we put it over there on the table, and he came in and I said, look over there. And he was like, oh, great. I said, it's your cake. He was like, oh, thank God. I thought you brought a brisket. I was like, why did she bring
Oh my
brisket to
God.
my wedding?
Oh my,
Nice.
yeah, no, that was
Awesome.
the
I'll have to
son
send you a
being like,
picture.
cool, mom, that's great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
mom's lost her mind. She's finally gone off the deep end. But it really did. We even my daughter helped me. We melted butter and like dripped it in the pan so it looked like grease that had melted down into the pan. I'll send you a picture. It was really cool.
Wow.
The bakery was
That's
closed by then,
commitment.
but yeah, it was really cool. But it didn't have any weird flavors. So, but still, that was one of the more unique cakes.
That's very cool. We don't get the opportunity to ask that question very often.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a new one.
Yeah. What about reviews? Do you write reviews?
I do. Yeah, I write reviews for Southern Literary Review. Yeah, the most recent one just went up in November. I did one for Christy Woodson Harvey's Feels Like Falling. And I think I did it was Sonali Dev. I'm sorry, I can't remember what the one before that was, but I do write reviews for them. And but I thought when you started asking me, you meant do I write reviews or do I?
Well, no, I didn't even know you wrote reviews like officially. I was asking unofficially.
Oh,
Do
you mean
you
just for
write reviews?
people? Oh, yeah. And I'm trying to get more active on Goodreads myself. Use it the way you're supposed to. I had an account years ago, and once my books came out, I realized I needed to, claim my author page and start adding books. So I do want to get more active on there, especially now that I see how important it is. So important for authors to have that. So I want to be able to do that for my fellow authors.
No, I agree. What about, do you read your reviews?
So far, I mean, I don't have so many that it would be difficult. So far, I have read all my reviews. The most frustrating thing has been the day that the Only Una came out, or just was listed on Goodreads. I think, and we had the giveaway going. So I think some people use it just to sort of mark a book, like just to keep track of it. And someone just put 1 star. So I had one review that was and the book's not even out. And there's nothing you can do. It's just, now it looks like this book has 1 star if you don't look further, right? So that's a little, just one of those quirks that you just have to deal with. But so far I have read all my reviews. Or if someone just sends me something personally, I'll ask them, this is so nice, I cried, can you please go post this publicly for other people? It would really help me out. So far I have read them, but if I ever get to the point where there are lots of reviews, which hopefully will happen someday, I'm not sure that I will.
Well, you also have to remember that reviews generally are for the readers. So keep that in mind, because if you Google or you look up on Amazon your favorite books and look at the reviews, just click on the 1-star reviews. So you're prepared.
I actually do that. I do that just to see like what would make someone come all the way here and do that. I mean, you have to really, really feel this way to take all the trouble to do that.
You have to have all the feelings.
Yes. Just as much as 65% gave it 5 stars. These 3%. Hopefully, it is they are valid reviews, and they felt that way for a certain reason. And a lot of sometimes you if I stopped reading a book because I didn't like it, which is new for me. That's a whole side story, because it used to be I couldn't start a book and not finish it. But
No, I think it's brilliant. I am a huge advocate of not finishing books that aren't good. You've
Yeah.
already given them your money, so you did something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're wasting your time by reading a book that is
And
not good.
there's so much on my TBR that and I'm not a fast reader. I read like a writer. I think that's why I read so slowly, because I'm breaking down sentences, like why they chose to say this like that, and going back and rereading. And so, a book takes me a while, so it's an investment. So I just this year started, not necessarily finishing a book if I was truly not enjoying it. And something that helps me is to go and read the 1 and 2 star reviews, and like, okay, other people feel this way. I'm super happy that a lot of people maybe liked this, for them, but it just wasn't for me. And I'm not crazy.
No, not at all. No. And I think it's smart to not waste your time. Okay, Danielle, I'm going to give you the final question.
If you could visit one literary mythical place, where would it be and why?
Ooh, literary mythical place. Oh my goodness. I think I might read too much biography for this to come to me quickly. And I'm not super into sci-fi, so
That's okay. Just
mythical
whatever
place. Yeah.
place that you'd want to visit.
Okay. Okay, what is something else I've read recently? Yeah, I'm reading way too much stuff set in real places.
Okay, what time period would you like to visit?
Oh, I think I would be really curious to go back to Victorian times. I all my life, I don't remember what it was that I saw somewhere that said, if a person was from today was transported back to Victorian times, they would pass out just from the smell of,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we didn't have
Oh, you mean the body odor?
the great running water sewer systems and stuff like that, and people throwing their chamber pots out the window and
Yeah.
contents. I just always been fascinated with Victorian times in London, but then also in India. There's the time period when the British Raj, when they were in charge, when they come and taken over India, which is around when my mom was there. I feel like experiencing that time period would help me understand her more, because of my parents, she was the one who I grew up here, right? So she was the one who it felt had that completely different experience growing up. So I think that would be a place in time, from when her mom was coming up in Victorian times, and then how that affected how she was raised, which again goes into that book idea that I have. That also that family being Christian in India is fascinating to me, and so that made them a lot more influenced by the British people that were living in India. So I think to me that would be fascinating to see it in person. How did that affect your how would that affect your selfhood? How you feel even as a person of your own country,
Mm-hmm.
to be sort of an outsider, which did sort of transfer, I think, to me growing up. I mean, now I always say nowadays I can't turn on the TV without seeing someone who sort of looks like me, another mixed person, a person of color, or even just Indian people. When I was a kid, kids didn't know what it meant to be. They thought I was talking about when I was a kid. They didn't say Native American, they said Indian, right? And if I would say
Right.
that, they would think that's what I meant. And so her experience obviously affected my experience, and so I think that would probably be very beneficial to go back to that time and see beyond just what I know and what I saw. what made her and what made her mother before her.
That
Interesting.
would be very cool. I like it. Okay, shameless self-promotion time.
Okay. So where to find me? My website is tamathacain.com. I'm most active on social media on Instagram, and that's at Tamatha_Cain. I've been trying to be really good with updating Linktree. Anytime we have anything going on, like currently we have the lipstick giveaway going on in conjunction with the release of Only Una. That'll be out January 3rd. Pre-orders are going on now everywhere you can buy books. And Song of the Chimney Sweep came out in August, and you can also get that everywhere from Amazon, bookshop.org, Target, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, all those places. So yeah, I think the best thing is to follow me on Instagram. Sign up for my newsletter, please, and I send that out once a month with. I try to start it out every month with some happy news or a fun video or something that made me happy or made me laugh that month.
Mhm.
And that newsletter is probably the best way to always know what's going on, what's new, and what events might be you can participate in.
Very cool. Thank you again so much for being on the show with us.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I've been your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today has been the amazing Danielle Orsino. Do not forget, like, subscribe, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.